talking about boxing. Just absolutely boxing. We're talking about boxing. Just absolutely boxing. Boxing. Just absolutely boxing.
Alright, y'all, what's going on? Welcome back to the 58th episode of the Just Absolutely Boxing Podcast. I am Combo Breaker 99.
It's your boy Boxing P.
And today what we're going to do is we're going to kind of revisit an episode we did, episode 32 to be exact. What we're going to do is we're going to just dig in the crate again and pull out some of our favorite fights, and we're just going to talk about them, why we love them, you know, and the history behind the fights, because like we say over here, we talk anything and everything boxing. But before we do that, what's been going on with you, P?
Not too much, man. Just chilling out, trying to keep cool, man. This heat been hot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It been hot out, man. So I just been chilling out, man. Staying up in this AC.
Oh yeah, it's been getting up there, but it actually cooled down a little bit today. You know,
yeah.
We got a little rain out here, so that's a good thing. But this past weekend, you know, last Friday, I did check out Claressa Shields' fight.
Yeah.
Shout out to Claressa Shields and her opponent, Hannah Gabriels. It was a good fight.
Yeah.
You know, this was, like I said, one of her first fights where she kind of faced adversity. She faced her first knockdown in the first round, but she was able to get up, you know, and, you know, fight her heart out and win again. But, you know, like I said, some people think her attitude is being cocky and arrogant, you know. And like I said, to me, that's always the word they throw out when there's somebody black, you know, cocky and arrogant,
yeah.
cocky, especially a black woman, you know.
Yeah, just calling it how it is, man.
Yeah, because I mean, like, in the fight game, you a fighter. I mean, it's nice. It's sometimes kind of mysterious to see a quiet person, and then you know, they let that killer instinct out. You know what I mean? But you know, from the area she's from and where she's from, she's had to face so much. So you can expect her to have the attitude of a fighter, you know, and that's just how I see it. But I mean, shout out to Claressa Shields. You know, she put on a good fight.
Yeah, definitely. Big shout out to Claressa Shields. Like I say, I'm not the biggest female boxing fan, but I did get a chance to see that fight. You know, they had another girl on the undercard from Baltimore, so I did.
Tori Nelson.
Yeah, Tori Nelson. Shout out to Tori Nelson. She lost to Hammer, right?
Yeah, she lost the decision to Hammer.
But I just want to, like I said, give a shout out to Claressa Shields, man. She really, that fight really opened my eyes to some different dynamics in the female boxing, and another thing, just, you know, at 6-0, you know, Miss Shields is a 2-time world champion, and I think that that speaks volumes of her talent and her skill, and what she's going to go on and do big things in female boxing, I think. So I just wanted to give her a shout out. You know, on that note, I thought that was big.
Yeah, you hit me with that. You know, I've never really just looked at it that way. You know, just saw it like that. 6-0, 2-time world champion,
Yeah.
and everybody's a somebody on her record. Like I said, you know, because even when I looked at the picture with the doubleheader, I was like, she beat Tori Nelson, she beat Hannah Gabriels. Now she's going for Christina Hammer, you know, so she's putting the who's who in, you know, only 6-7 fights. So it's like, you know, how can you not?
I mean, and for the common fan, I mean, 6-0, most fighters haven't even had a title fight yet. So for her to be a 2-time world champion, you know, at 6-0, even better than Lomachenko.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's big, man.
Yeah, it is. Big. It is, and I think, you know, she's just getting better too, you know.
Yeah.
Like at 6-0, 23 years old, she's just getting better.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, she's 6-0. I mean, wait, she's 10-0, 15-0. I mean, it's only going to get better. You know, this is what she's accomplished at 6-0, and that's amazing.
Yeah. And what you were saying too, what I was saying about the fight is like when she got knocked down, it's like she didn't react like some men fight, they go on the back foot and never recover from,
Right.
They lose a game plan.
Absolutely.
They lose a game plan when they get knocked down. But she kind of faced the humility in that one round and got back
Absolutely.
up and kind of fought her ass off, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like we said, shout out to Claressa Shields. Big things coming for her. But yeah, let's get into this topic. We're gonna go back and pick a couple of our favorite fights again. So like I said, when we pick these fights, we're just picking fights for y'all to kind of just go back and watch and kind of understand like why we like the sport. Sometimes we'll pick a decision, sometimes we pick an all-out knockout. But today I got a knockout. Last time you went first, P, but you can do that again.
Oh, you gonna put it on me?
You want to? Or you want me?
I mean, no, I go ahead and
Okay.
bang it out,
All
man. Like Ant said, I like the way he set that up. We just, throw fights somehow, favorite fights out there, for you guys to go back and check out and see what you guys think. And like for me, when we do these episodes, I try to get fights that not only that I was really entertained by, but I like fights that it would make a person who's not necessarily a boxing fan become a boxing fan. So these fights are like, most of the time high action, knockout, just all out wars. But in the same token, I do like the sweet science. I do like a fight where it's boxing on a higher level, watching two pure boxers. But for these particular episodes, I like to pick out fights that stand out. So without further ado, Ant, this go around, I picked Sergio Martinez and Paul Williams. The first fight.
Classic.
Classic, these guys met in December 2009. Actually, Paul Williams was supposed to fight Kelly Pavlik, but Kelly Pavlik had a staph infection and had to pull out the fight. So we got this fight by default, and it was a very
It wasn't a letdown.
yeah, it was a big surprise. We were very entertained, and like I said, we had two top guys in the division. Me and Ant were talking about that earlier, how this fight is from the early 2000s, late 2000s. We're not seeing that level of competition with the guys even today. This is 10, 15 years ago. The guys seemed like they were fighting the big names, fighting more regularly, and going in there, letting it all out in the ring. So these guys were just two of the top guys at the division at the time. And Paul Williams, like I said, he was supposed to fight Kelly Pavlik, which was a dangerous guy at the time, and he stepped right in and took another dangerous guy, Sergio Martinez, which, by the way, was my kind of introduction in the world introductions to Sergio Martinez. He got into the game late, by boxing standards. He didn't start boxing until the age of 20. He was, played soccer and was a cyclist before he got into boxing. So this was like his big outcome, big outcoming fight. And him and Paul, from round 1 to round 12, it didn't disappoint. The fight started out, these two guys just going back and forth. Paul dropped Martinez, a couple seconds later, Martinez came back, dropped him in the first round. That was the first round. Both guys went down, and from that point on, the fight never really changed. It was just nonstop action, back and forth. Paul Williams wound up pulling out a 12-round unanimous decision, which some people thought was controversial. It was a very competitive and it was a close fight, but it was definitely one to go down in the books as a classic, and these guys actually wound up meeting again and having a rematch, which Sergio Martinez wound up stopping Paul Williams in
Wow.
brutal, dramatic fashion. But the first fight was just definitely like a candidate for fight of the year. I don't know if it won fight of the year that year, but it was just definitely a good 12-round brawl with two guys who went out there and gave it their all. And
Yeah.
what's your memories of the fight?
Dude, like what you were saying right there, whenever I just thought of like the pace and the intensity of the first fight versus the second one, it makes you think like, I know it was a perfect punch that ended the second fight, but it was like, what was possessing both of these guys to go through that action, you know, and last 12 rounds, you know? To me, it was like somebody was going to get knocked out, but nobody got knocked out because it was like both of them were saying, you know, I ain't going down.
I ain't going down. Absolutely.
And, you know, usually, like I said, with the knockdown, it kind of, sometimes it'll kind of dictate how that fighter's going to react. But when he got knocked down, you didn't think he was going to lose, but then he got knocked down. So it was
Right.
like you didn't know what was going to happen.
Even
you know?
again.
It was
Yeah,
even again.
It was even
yeah.
again.
And they both kept fighting like that. Neither one of them got scary and said, you know, I'm going to avoid trying to get knocked down
Absolutely.
again. They still fought with the intensity, you know, that to say, I'm not going nowhere, you know, you going to fold, you know, but neither one of them folded,
No
right?
one
Just
folded.
just the better man, you know, was able to outwork outwork his opponent,
Yeah.
you know. But my question is like, what do you think of like Sergio Martinez as a fighter? Because it was like that was kind of like my introduction to him too. Like I know he'd been fighting before that, but that was that one fight that put him on the map.
Yeah, put him on the map. I mean, for the short time that we had him, man, I mean, I thought that he was a very entertaining and impressive fighter. I mean, he had a weird style that worked for him. You know, I mean, I just thought he was a very entertaining fighter to watch, and he was winning. It wasn't just a bunch of antics and losing. You know, he you know, when I say entertaining, I mean just, you know, the hands always low, and that was his, you know, signature thing. The hands always low. No, none of us could understand why he would do that or take those type of chances, but that was his style. I mean, he was in there with big punches, same thing, hands low.
Pavlik, he never changed.
Yeah,
you
never
know,
changed.
Still worked.
And,
Yeah.
He was just an entertaining fighter. I think he was from what, Argentina.
Yeah, he was Argentina.
Yeah,
Yep.
Argentina,
Yeah, Argentina
so,
fight. Yep.
Like I say, it's we didn't have him for a long time. He wound up, you know, retiring. You know, he had some injuries with his knees, I think, or whatever.
Yeah,
I
both
think
of them.
it was the right thing to do. But the little window that we had him, I think he was a very entertaining fighter. I can't remember one fight that he was in.
No.
So shout out to Sergio Martinez, man. You know, it's a lot of guys that you don't hear about as much as you hear about as other guys, but he definitely was one of the good fighters in that time frame.
Same with Paul Williams. You know, sadly we didn't have him
Absolutely.
for a long period of time because, like, I'm just looking now at that fight, Martinez and Williams. Paul Williams has already had 40 fights then.
Right.
You know, he was already fighting everybody at that time. So
that time.
imagine where he would be now. You know,
Absolutely.
when he, like we said, he was a guy that was fighting from welterweight all the way to middleweight.
Up
you
to
know,
middleweight,
just because
which
of
is
his frame.
crazy,
You know, he
which
was
is
like dropping here at 154 for this fight. He was going back to 160 to try to fight Pavlik.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
he didn't get Pavlik, so he went in with another dangerous opponent, you know, another
Yeah.
credible guy. Because he could have did like some guys and say, didn't get my Pavlik fight, so now I'm going to take a salt.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I'm not. Why would I take another dangerous fight on short?
Now I don't know
short
nothing
notice?
about.
But that's
He
what the
still did it.
yeah, that's what the guys did
Yeah.
back then. Yeah, like you say, Ant, just in the Pavlik fight, just, you know, he was just, I mean, he was always the underdog, but he always just found a way to win.
Yeah.
You know, Sergio, he was he definitely was a good look for the sport when we had him. And who was the other guy Ant, that we didn't have? Oh, Paul.
Yeah,
Paul.
Paul. Yeah,
Back to
Paul. Yeah,
Paul.
Paul
Yeah,
Williams. Mhm.
Paul. Yeah, it was just, you know, another great entertaining fighter that, you know, his career kind of got clipped short. You know, he's in a motorcycle accident, wound up, you know, becoming paralyzed, and
You know, that's the ironic thing. It wasn't anything in the sport that hurt him.
it wasn't nothing in the
It had to
sport
be
that hurt
something,
him
you know.
outside the sport, and you know, me and Ant was just sitting here talking, matching him up with some of these guys today. I mean, Charlos, you know, I mean, and anybody at 147 to 160, you know, and it will be some interesting, fights there.
Cause believe me, man, like that 147 back then when he was in it, nobody really wanted to fight him then. So I don't really see anybody wanting to fight him now either. You know, so even at 154, if any of these guys did fight him at 154, I think he would go. He'd be giving them work. You know. I think those belts would be his right now.
Now, and that's the thing. I mean, of course, right now he would be giving them work because he be who I don't know how old Paul is, but the young Paul.
Yeah,
Though that
that's
young
what we talking
Paul
about.
up in the mix, it would be some interesting fights going on right now, and you know what I'm saying. At 147, he was the original boogeyman.
Yeah.
Now Earl Spencer's the boogeyman, but Earl Spencer, Paul, you could understand why he was a boogeyman. He threw a ton of punches. He was tall, awkward. He was lanky. You know, had some pop.
Especially at 147.
At 147,
That's why I was like, whoa, 6'2" at welterweight. It was like, I know why some of these dudes ain't fighting.
Don't want to deal with him.
But you know,
Earl Spence, we don't see that
Earl
though,
Spence, he's a good size welterweight with good power. But it's like everybody else shouldn't feel fearful of him. You know, if you just as capable of a fighter, you should just be like, it's another dude.
Exactly. He not presenting nothing this abnormal for 147. Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's no disrespect. You know,
no
he's
disrespect
a good fighter,
by no means.
But I mean, he's not like some freak of nature
like Paul. That's what we saying. 6'2", you going up 3 different weight classes. I mean, the volume of punches. I mean, just a lot of stuff that he was bringing to the table. I mean, guys is not even throwing 100 punches around anymore, except for maybe like Santa Cruz.
Yeah, Santa Cruz. Yeah, when you start going to lower weights, but he was throwing like lightweight punches. You know, he had them outputs where he was just throwing. You know. So,
I mean, it's just like I say, it would make for some very interesting fights today. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, Sergio too. You know, Sergio will be mixing it up with Paul more so because he's a little younger, and I just see that more clear. You know what I'm saying? You got the Charlos. You got a lot of young guys that, you know, would be perfect fits for that situation. So,
just like I said, it was matching somebody up like Sergio with Jamal Charlo or Canelo. You can't help but say, you know, Sergio will be giving him problems. You know,
very interesting, dude.
You know?
Very interesting. You know,
because you know, on that tail end, Cotto kind of caught him on that tail end. You know,
knees bad.
And,
I mean, Cotto was old too. You know, but he definitely.
He had better knees.
Once them knees went down, it was like over for Sergio. He started getting knocked down. He wasn't the same.
Because you could adapt with the hand injury a little bit better. You know, let's use less of the hand, but the knees, all it took was a little, you know, a little brush of the head. He was down. You know, so
so that it went down quick with the knees too in his career or whatever. But I mean, the time that he had, he definitely shined bright. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, that's definitely a good fight, man. So all y'all need to go on YouTube, pull it up. Paul Williams, Sergio Martinez won.
Right.
Both of them.
And like I say, man, it's hard to say, oh, that's my favorite fight or the best fight, because there's so many fights out and there's so many different ways to look at them. But this is a fight that, you know, like I say, somebody who might not even be in the boxing, round 1, you're going to want to see round 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And for somebody like you and me, it's definitely a fight that makes us want to keep loving the sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what we talk about right there.
Never say, okay, that's what makes me want to talk about boxing.
Exactly. You know? It's an example for me. I can be like, all right, you seen that fight? All right, but then you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so you good? You want me to jump on this?
I think that's it, man. You ain't have more questions or not. No.
Oh yeah, it was a classic, man. But I'm gonna go back, man, a little bit further back to November 23rd, 1991. to the heavyweight division. When you know the heavyweight division was a heavyweight division, man. I picked this fight too because, you know, right now, the state of the heavyweight division, they can learn from this fight. They can learn from this fight because I know a lot of people right now, media going on record say Wilder Josh was off. When was it on? When was that shit on?
Yeah.
You know, they keep saying like, oh, Povetkin stepping in to fight Josh. When was it on? Why are you upset? You know, it was never inked. So I don't want to talk about that shit until it happened, you know? So this is a real fight I want to talk about. 1991, 23rd, Evander Holyfield versus Burt Cooper. Dude, man, I remember seeing this because my dad, he was watching on HBO at the time. I was like 7. So sometime while he watching fights or something I didn't want to watch because I thought it was grown up stuff. I ain't need to be doing that. I had no business doing that,
yeah,
you know.
I remember.
But I remember just sitting down there on the floor and watching it with him on HBO. And man, this was like a nonstop battle between two good sized heavyweights, you know, throwing high numbers of punches. Both guys getting a little get gas, but they keep finding that second wind. You know how we talk about heavyweights now, they're not looking like they're having the right conditioning, the cardio. These dudes came in from the beginning of the fight throwing bombs, you know what I mean?
Right.
They were saying at the beginning Holyfield came in dry. Shit, he came in to fight, man.
Even with a guy like Burt Cooper with that type of physique, I mean,
Yeah,
he still
5'11",
that plodding. He still
style.
was, like you say, throwing punches with bad intentions.
Throwing bad intentions, you know.
Definitely.
And the thing about this fight, just so people know, this was like Holyfield, his second title defense. This was after he won, you know, the title against Buster Douglas. After he fought Buster Douglas, he fought George Foreman. Then he gonna go in there and fight Burt Cooper.
Right.
So again, that right there, you learn from that.
Alone, man.
You know how you go from Buster Douglas, George Foreman to Burt Cooper.
And for people who might not know, I mean, he went from one killer to another killer to another killer, back to back to back. I mean, it's just, you know, you gotta take your hat off to stuff like that, eh?
And you gotta remember going in this from Burt Cooper, like they said, he had just come off a 4-fight knockout streak, all in 1991. So this was his 5th fight in 1991.
So again, 5 times a year.
So again, facts. Listen, young fighters, he fought 5 times.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just saying, look, then he gonna go in there with somebody Holyfield. That's how active he was, you know.
Right.
But looking at the fight, man, from round 1, like I said, Holyfield, he just came out throwing combinations, man. He wasn't sizing him up, trying to, you know, figure him out. He just went straight in, was hitting him like a straight 1-2, hitting him to the body. And you could hear the body shot. You could hear that left hook to the body. So I said, I know it's going to have some type of effect. So, like, after a minute in, he hit him with that 1-2 again. And that left to the stomach, homeboy went down, man. He grabbed his stomach and then he just, like, went down. So people thought he was done. But he got back up, man, and just started throwing more bombs, you know. You know, because he used to be trained by Joe Frazier. So he kind of was trying to mimic Joe Frazier.
That's what he remind you. That's what he will remind you of, Joe Frazier.
Yeah, because when he coming in, he started back throwing more bombs, and like that's how the next round, when you know they picked it right back up, throwing combinations. Both of them trying to get dominant over the other, but you know, like I said, Holyfield, he getting the better of the exchanges. But third round, you know, like Holyfield, like I said, he good for taking some punishment sometimes. So he came back in there. Trying to lean forward, but you know that's how Burt Cooper fight. He kind of leaned on you, land him uppercut. So when he leaned in against Burt Cooper, he had his hands out, so he came over with an overhand right. That jump rocked Holyfield. I mean, when it rocked him, Holyfield, he kind of spun and went down, man. So then people thought Holyfield about to get knocked out. So when he got back up, you know, Burt landed like 6-7 punches. I thought the referee was gonna stop it because he looked hurt, but then he come back, bounce back and rock Burt Cooper again.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just been like back and forth.
Right.
Both guys go back to the corner kind of gassed out. They come back for round 4. Same action, you know. Both guys going back and forth, you know, throwing punches. The thing about Burt is like he coming forward like that crab defense, but it's kind of not committed, so he keep taking punishment, you know. So he keep getting rocked throughout the round. And then you go in the 5th round, same thing. You know, he keep coming forward, lean on Holyfield. Holyfield's like landing an uppercut right up the middle.
Right.
So right in the middle of that, they had to stop it because Holyfield's glove split. And that just tell you how hard he hitting Burt.
Hell, yeah.
You know, they had to actually stop the fight, take the glove off, and then change it because the split in the glove was that bad. So
Yeah.
going into round 6 again, like you could tell Burt, he was kind of like gassing out. So that, again, like Holyfield, he found that money punch. That's just that uppercut straight up the guard, man.
Right.
You could hear the punches. You know, he really sitting down on him, and somehow Burt, he survived another round, man. But when it came to round 7, again, just working that uppercut, man. But then, like, there was this big right hand that Holyfield landed, and that's when Burt, he got rocked, man. He was like really rocked. He was stepping back. Holyfield threw 1, 2, 3. Dude threw 23 punches. A lot landed, some of them missed before the referee finally stopped it, man.
Yeah.
23 punches, man. Homeboy was
crazy.
still like trying to dodge. He was
Yeah.
getting hit with him, hit. And, you know, I had to go back and count him because I was like, dang, the referee letting this go on. Usually after about like 7, 8, you stop it, you know. But he was like letting it go, which I guess was all right because he was kind of ducking some. But like
that crab was some
yeah,
head bobbing.
yeah, but the head was still
Yeah.
bobbing. But he wanted to give him a chance. But if you don't answer after 23 punches, you know,
Yeah,
you
that's
can't
a lot
argue.
of shots. Yeah, it's a lot of shots. Definitely.
So yeah, like after the stoppage, you know, Burt, he didn't really get mad or nothing. You know, I don't even think he knew really where he was at the time because he looked a little dazed. But it was just an overall. That was just one of those good fights. I think a lot of heavyweights now, you don't have to take that punishment thing I'm saying, but go in there with competition. You know,
Right.
You know,
Right.
like I said, when you look at the activity of these guys fighting this many times a year, 5 times a year, and just going in there in good shape.
Right.
That was the number one thing. Just the shape they were in to throw these bombs, you know.
Yeah, for 12 rounds, man. Like I say, I mean, before that 15 rounds. I mean, it's just you really can't believe that they used to do that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Because granted, you know, they said Holyfield is small heavyweight. He came in 6'2", like 215, 220. That's still a lot of weight to carry, you know. Especially you ain't a natural heavyweight. You still coming in there, you know, and you getting hit.
And then, you know, to top it off, Holyfield wound up, you know, having a bad heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, so what was this man in there going off of, man? You know what I'm saying?
You know, yeah.
It's amazing.
And then you look at a guy like Burt Cooper. Like I said, he been there before this fight. He fought 4 guys, won 4 in a row. Before that, he fought Riddick Bowe. You know, he lost that. But he fought George Foreman. So it's like you couldn't really make him think he was ducking anybody ever. You know, he was fighting everybody, win or lose, and that's kind of what you come to see. Like, and again, I'm not stressing the punishment you take. I'm just saying the competition you take.
Right. I mean,
you know how you fight it. That's on you. As
that's
long
on
as you take the best. You
because
know.
it go without saying that you in the hurt business. I mean, you're not in there tap dancing. You in there throwing punches, and it's gonna be some good days. There's gonna be some bad days. But I mean, they signed up for this, ain't?
Yeah.
Nobody made them sign up for this.
He said fight game, you gotta expect to get hit. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's the hurt business. It's just part of the game. Of course, none of us want to see nobody get a life-threatening injury or hurt really bad, but it is part of the business. It's football. I mean, people get hurt. Other sports, it's not the only sport you can't get hurt in, but you know, it's part of the business. Now, as far as taking punishment, that depends on your fighting style.
that's your fight style, exactly.
You know, I mean, no logical person would tell you to go take punishment from anybody.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, but that depends on, you know, your fighting style or whatever. So, I mean, these guys back in the day, I don't believe they believed in taking punishment. It just was, some of it was just bravado. I'm a man. I'm tough. This is what we do. You know,
Yeah.
it was, you know, going out on your medal.
Yeah.
Today,
Today it's like that's the best answer for it.
You know what I'm saying? It
That's the
ain't
best way
happening.
to explain it, man. Because
no, they don't care nothing about none of that stuff. It's like a lot of old stuff. Chivalry is dead. All this old stuff is dead, and that's one of the things in boxing. Just being that warrior code is really not the same. They talking, but they not, you know, backing it up.
yeah, because like for boxing, I believe in boxing is hit and not get hit, but to a certain extent, I still believe that Warrior Code is right up there. You know, like,
Yeah,
like I
absolutely.
don't want you to say go in there and take these hits, but I mean, if you get hit, prove that you can take it and come back with something. You know what I mean?
And because
And expect to get hit.
expect to get hit
Expect to
because
get hit.
it's just like okay, you know, the science is hit and don't get hit, but it's also another science too. I'm gonna take two to land my good one. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's other, you know, parts to the science that you know you have to, you know, apply. You know, Floyd, it was times, you couldn't land a shot on him, but it was certain fighters he said, all right, man, I mean, I'm gonna have to eat a couple because I need to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even somebody like him, a defensive tactician, knew that. So it is different, you know, like I say, different dynamics to the sport. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's a hurt business, and
Yeah.
don't go into boxing thinking
You won't get hurt.
you're gonna come out and gonna be a model.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly,
saying? I
yeah.
mean, it's just that's not highly possible.
Because that's even something that, you know, shout out Virgil Hunter, he stresses. He says, like, even in their game plans and their training, they know they're going to get hit. So to get our 2 or 3, we're going to take 1 or 2, you know? To get our 5 or 6, we might have to
Absolutely.
take 2 or 3, you know,
Absolutely.
to get it. So,
Absolutely, because it's no. I mean, if you on all defensive in a fight, I mean,
How
how
you
you
get your
land it? Yeah,
offense.
how you
Yeah.
gonna score?
Yeah.
So you have to sometimes get on some offense, and I mean, and with offense, you at risk getting hit, and that's just part of it. I mean,
that's part of it, man. That's a part of it.
you
Like,
fire is something coming back when you fire
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah, because, like, whenever you go in there and thinking hit and not get hit, that don't mean put this great distance between you where you can't
Exactly.
get hit and not get
Yeah, no.
like
we're
you
not
gotta
talking about
reach
that.
it.
No.
You still, like, that's why I'm a fan of, like, guys that can be in the pocket and not get hit, and they still at risk,
Right.
but they getting their shots off, but they might get hit, but they'll come back with something.
And
you
that's
know?
the like I say, and that's the science of it. And that distance, understanding distance,
Yeah.
knowing how to be just in harm's way and just out of harm's way. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's where people get hit and not get hit mixed up. Like, that's the distance, like, where you fighting at, where it comes into play, but at the same time, you know you're going to get hit, you know,
Right.
but you want to shorten those odds, you know.
Absolutely, you want to.
It doesn't mean, like I said, be way out here, not get hit. You got to
Absolutely.
be, because it's still combat, you know. It's still, it's an art of fighting, you know.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, young guys need to take listen to that, you know. What
Yeah,
I'm saying?
man,
They can just
I
listen to
mean,
some of the
the thing-
things, you know.
All of it's documented, and like we always say, if you are a student of any game, you study it,
Yeah.
and you can't study the future. You can only study the past.
Study
man.
the past.
So,
because you
I
want to
mean-
do with what you got, make it better. You know.
I mean,
That's-
in the future you can't study it because it hasn't happened yet.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The past is there. It's already laid down. This is proven. This has happened already. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you can go and see all of that and make the adjustments and, you know, go from there.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. And the thing about, you know, Burt Cooper, I grew to be a fan after seeing him fight is because, you know, he did possess that code. I mean, yeah, he did have a lack of defense, but he just possessed that code where he came to fight. It didn't matter who it was, you know. That was in him. I think maybe having another trainer to help him tighten defense up would have been cool, but that's just who he was, you know.
Right.
And, you know, like I said, he was trained by Joe Frazier for a little bit, so they had a little falling out, but, you know, the fight was still in him, you know.
Yeah,
It was
for
like,
sure. For sure.
You know, Joe just didn't make him. He was who he was, you know. So, and he went on to fight all the way up to I want to say 2011. He fought Luis Ortiz, man.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did he?
Yeah, yeah. He actually fought Luis Ortiz. Man.
That is crazy.
I mean, he lost, but I'm just saying, you know, that's how far he fought up to.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. That's crazy.
He
'Cause
came-
that's,
he came to
those
solve.
like you say, we talking eras, different eras. You know what I mean? Burt Cooper is from the damn George Foreman era,
Exactly.
and he done fought somebody in the Deontay Wilder era.
in the Wilder era. Man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. As you know, Holyfield, like, he proven himself so many times, you know.
Yeah, man.
He's proven it so many times. Like I said, George Foreman, Buster Douglas, Burt Cooper, Michael Moore, you know,
Mike Tyson,
Riddick Bowe, Lennox.
I mean, yeah.
But right now, I bring that fight up just because it was like today it's so hard to get one fight made that they consider this big. We don't know if it's that big because
like
y'all
said,
won't let it happen. It's like
absolutely
Joshua Wilder could just be a passing, you know, of another fight.
a good heavyweight
Great.
fight. Yeah, a good heavyweight fight.
Yeah, just like one of these. See,
Yeah.
it didn't take long for a Holyfield Cooper fight to happen. You know, it was just a really classic fight that needed to happen when it did. You didn't have to wait a year or two to make it happen.
To try to milk it for every dime. And like we say, I mean, these guys' resume, it's really just another big heavyweight fight. Once all this smoke settles, then we can start really building some legacies and start really making some solid statements. Right now, a lot is still up in the air and a lot still to be seen about most of these guys out there. AJ, Wilder, you know, Tyson. I mean, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah, like Tyson Fury. Like we can't even like solidify him as anything. Like he's definitely not the lineal champion. Like what are we calling him now? Because he's not even here. You know what I mean? He just had a bum fight, but before that, where was he? 2.5 years ago.
Right.
You know. So like y'all are. I feel like people are really digging at the bottom of the barrel when you're trying to put him up there as like this top heavyweight. You know.
And is it really that bad, or it's just this name? It's the politics, and you know.
A little bit of both. It's the politics and you know.
I mean, because I think it's
the money.
They got that other kid. What's his name? Dubois, and I mean, it's people out there. I mean that. Well, not really though. I mean, when you think of the top guys. I mean, Wilder, AJ, and I mean, who else could be put in that mix? I mean, Tyson is like the closest.
Yeah, he's the closest in that
thing. Yeah,
that's kind of sad. You know, like I said, it's sad because he's not really performing on a, you know, championship level right now. So you start looking at Luis Ortiz, but Dillian White, they already fought Wilder and AJ. You know. So, I think it's just like you said, man. They just drawing this one fight out for the money, you know. And
then you know, I mean, the heavyweight division was really heating up. It was a lot of guys coming there. I mean, they just putting so much light on these two names that we not seeing the other talent that's out there, the other guys that's out there. I mean, because the division was heating up. I mean, it was names.
It was, because like for a minute there were a few names that people were looking at, but now people have just been with Eddie Hearn and all, and they just really been putting light on AJ over there, and then Wilder. You know, whether it's negative, they just putting light on these two. You don't see the other guy. Yeah. See, back in the day, you had a good mix. You know, you had good guys that could really fight and put themselves in that position. But now it's like they really trying to milk two fighters, you know, for the most dollar. But yeah, man, I mean, really, going back, just watching these classic fights like these, like I said, they kind of make you go back and remember why you appreciate the sport, you know, even in its down times, you know. Yeah. But
I want to. You said something early in the episode, and you said you were sitting down with your dad watching the fight or whatever. Even like me and my dad, you know, me and my father don't really have the best relationship or whatever. I mean, we cool, but it could be better. But I remember that too. I remember him watching fights, and I really hated it. You know what I'm saying? Sitting down, watching it. You know what I mean? It was because I really didn't understand what was going on. But you know, it's just funny how you said the same thing, but over time we both come to love the sport, you know what I mean? But our first introduction was kind of like, man, I want to see some cartoons.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
off,
you're still in your cartoon mind, and like it's almost like the music too. Like, you know, back in the day, you wouldn't catch me listening to some Temptations or
right.
You know, in my teen years, you wouldn't catch me riding around.
This old stuff, man. Turn this old stuff.
But now, you know, I love it. You know, like I'm listening to it all day, all that stuff. You know, but you kind of grow to appreciate it. And I think that's why I did like even a little bit that night when I saw the glove tear and stuff like that. I was like, oh, this it's almost like it watching Incredible Hulk and the Thing fight. Some, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You started seeing people getting knocked down, and you started kind of learning to love it. So I was just like, oh, okay. And like I said, the love, you kind of grow to appreciate it more. Like
because over the years, when you watching as a kid, you just want to see somebody get knocked out, then you understand what people doing and why they not getting knocked out and why they knocking people out, and it's just you open up that world, and once you open up the world, it's just sky's the limit. There's so many different things involved, but the first thing is just seeing somebody get beat up. I remember, I'm gonna just say this, and that's gonna be it for me. But I remember watching a couple of fights and my stomach getting turned, dude. Like seeing the dude get knocked out. Boxing, I'll never forget Fernando Vargas and Shane Mosley. And after Shane Mosley knocked him out, I went and threw up, dude.
Really?
It just instantly turned my stomach, and I don't know. But
That's pretty. I remember that knockout.
Yeah, it was dude.
I remember that knockout.
It was a brutal knockout. I went and threw up. I might have just been drunk. I don't know it, but I went and threw up after seeing him. But it
still triggered something.
Yeah, when it happened, it did something. It was so, I don't know what it was, but it was crazy, man. But we just got some boxing fanatics here, y'all. It's the life of a boxing fanatic.
I know, right there. That's a boxing fanatic right there, man. Yeah, shoot. But man, just make sure y'all just check out those fights. Like I said, Sergio Martinez and Paul Williams, the first fight. Evander and Bert Cooper, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I would say, if we wrap it up, just make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud, and on Stitcher now, Stitcher.com.
Yes, sir.
And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Anything else you want to say if we wrap it up here?
No, man, just like I say, shout out to everybody who listen, everybody who supporting the movement or whatever. Just keep riding with us. Next month it'll be a year for us, and
July 12th.
Yeah, July 12th we'll be at a year. We only been in the game a year, y'all. So like I say, just bear with us, keep rocking with us, and we just hoping to do bigger and better things next year.
Oh yeah. And before we bounce to, just want to say it is local fight week. Michael Williams Jr. Shout out Michael Williams Jr. He got a fight coming up in Greensboro. June 30th is Saturday.
Yeah.
And also got Anthony Saunier. Shout out to him. He's fighting in the Queen City. He's fighting in Charlotte.
This weekend?
Yeah, same weekend. Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. Shout out to both those guys, man, Junior and Anthony. Good luck this weekend.
So you got some NC boxing coming up. So if you live in NC, North Carolina, go support them.
Yeah, man, and that is another thing too, Ant. I'm a transplant down here, whatever, but it's a lot of the boxing scene is heating up in North Carolina. So local people and people who just in out surrounding areas, and whoever boxing fans, just check it out, because
because Anthony, he's actually transferred too, coming from the west side.
Yeah, coming from the Bay Area, right?
Yeah, so they've been showing him love here.
Yeah, Donnie, Donnie, Mike Jr. from Jersey, Donnie from Buffalo, New York. So I'm just saying, it ain't where you from, it's where you at, and we all here right now, and the boxing scene is picking up. So you guys check it out.
For sure, as long as they bring in the talent, right?
The talent. Yeah. And that's the thing, we if it was the freak show, we wouldn't really be trying to. But these guys, these seem like some solid guys, and some guys that you guys will probably be hearing a lot more from in the future. So, we only gonna bring the real one. Definitely. Ain't no offense to nobody, but
for real, Yeah, definitely, man. But we about to bounce here. I think we done talked y'all. But like I said, my name is Combo Breaker 99.
It's your boy Boxing P, y'all.
And we about to bounce. Peace.
Later.